This session is all about getting rid of the internal fear, which, unfortunately, biologically, we have built in. How do we get rid of fear forever? Okay. Now, let me share with you a quote that I read in Steve Jobs' biography. I may not remember the exact words, but it goes like, we come with nothing and we have nothing to lose. We're not going to go with anything from this world. We came naked and that's how it's going to remain, right? So we practically come with nothing, and you actually have no logical reason for thinking that you're going to lose something, because you came with nothing, and we are all going to leave with nothing. Okay. And another thing that I learned, and I feel honored to be studying his work, is Dr. Wayne Dyer. Okay. I learned from him that when you are scared, or if there's something that's not right in your life, you got to observe yourself as the third person and say, how is this person performing? Okay. So if I was to give you an example on myself, in any given situation, if I'm having a bad day or a good day, doesn't really matter, both ways, I'd always look at myself as a third person and say, if let's say I'm having a bad day, what can I improve? Or what is it that I can do to make it better? And that's all there is to it. How is this guy performing, if I may say so? And if I'm having a good day, and lately I've been having really good weeks and months, I end the month with, lots of money in my account. I look at that and say, okay, this guy is doing well. Okay. Nothing to brag about, because eventually it takes nothing for a human being to disappear from this. We are a blink in this universe. Okay. I know I'm talking spiritual stuff and all of that, but we actually, if you think even logically and not even from emotional or this tactical point of view of looking at yourself as a third person, even then, logically, we have nothing to lose. If you look at yourself, what you had 10 years ago or 20 years ago, or even when you were 20, did you have anything? The answer is probably nothing. Okay. Whatever you had was your parents, not yours. Okay. So if you just look at yourself and say, where am I now? Okay. And if you have more, great. If you have less, it doesn't really matter. You're going to pick up and improve. So you logically don't have anything to be scared about. As well as if you look at the spiritual perspective, you actually don't have nothing to lose. We come with nothing. And that is when I look at any business and when I'm looking to invest somewhere, you always got to look at it and say, okay, this is an investment in an experience. And is this experience going to pay off, or it's not going to pay off? That's all there is to it. It's just an experience. You're investing in an experience. And life is all about a collection of experiences and not necessarily money. Okay? It's a collection of experiences. So you could look back at your life, hey, you know what? I bought a hotel once, or I did a development of this size myself, or I invested into some project that was amazing, or for that matter, an example on me is I'm in collaboration with this guy. In fact, just so you know, I went in collaboration with Pattinson Auction as well as Allsop Auction, one of the biggest in the country. We have gone into collaboration with them. Now, I can look at my life and say, okay, what a great experience to be going into collaboration with one of the biggest auction companies in the country. Okay. Or I could look and say, oh, what a great experience to be going into collaboration with one of the biggest developers in the country. Okay. But it's an experience. Either I make money or I don't make money or I lose money is another story within that experience. Okay. Yes, you must not go and invest all your money in one basket, like in one single investment. That would be bad logically. But start to invest small amounts just so you could get the experience to be able to get to that point where you start to shred this fear. Okay. You literally never, ever had anything to lose in the first place. Okay. So if you keep that perspective in mind at any given time, then you will have no fear, or at least less fear going forward, investing into anything. Okay, we are all investing into experiences, and that is all that matters. Okay, I was interviewing John Howard, and he has 40 years of development experience. That's as old as I am. Okay, he said that show me one developer, and I've heard this from many people, but he is one of them, late one that I did only a few days ago. He said, show me one developer who has not lost money, and I'll tell you that he's lying. Okay, so a developer with 40 years experience sharing that we still make mistakes, we still occasionally could potentially lose money in a project just because we overlooked something. Okay, so don't ever go into a development or into a project thinking you're definitely going to make money, because if you go with that sort of mindset, you're always going to be scared, because there's expectations, and expectations lead to being fearful. Okay, so don't go into a project, into an investment with expectations. Go more for your experience, learning, and how you will look back at life in 20 years time or 10 years time, or if you're Harry's age, maybe 70 years time. Okay, so always look at life from the perspective of, it's just an experience that I'm gonna go through, and what's in it for me to learn, and what's in it for me to reflect back and look back at my life that I don't regret. Because it's an amazing feeling to be a part of something as big as some of the stuff that I'm showing you. Just being a very small part. I don't have to be a very big part of it, just a very small part. I'm an immigrant. Okay, so just experiences. Don't fall for expectations. Don't have expectations. It's more about experiencing the deals, experiencing your investments, experiencing the moments that you're in. That is what matters. That is what has allowed me personally to not have any fear. So when I'm investing, I have no fear. If I'm going to lose money, I'm going to lose money. I'll make that money back. I literally, I was speaking with my missus this morning. I have a deal that's going through, and the chances of that now going through is probably about 99%. And I'm going to make 70 grand commission. Okay, so it's literally at a point where it's about to go under legals, and that happens. And then if I lose money on another deal, that's okay. That's a part of life, right? No, I didn't come with a written, in my life that I'm going to make money from every single deal. There will be times that I'll make money and I'll lose money, but that's what you call going through the experience. And that more experience that you get, and the experience that you feel within that, is what will give you more clarity going forward. And that allows you to not necessarily lose money, at least major chunks of money in any deal, because that is where your experience will count in. Also, if you show me personally any deal, the likelihood of you losing major money is very little, because I'm good with numbers. So I can easily dig deeper into a deal and say, look, either you go for it or you don't go for it, or somewhere in the middle. Most of the times it's going to be somewhere in the middle. It's never a yes and no. But that's the way I look at investments. That's the way I take my decisions. I take my decisions within 3 to 5 seconds personally, because the longer I take, the less likely I'm to take no action. And remember, no action is a decision as well. And that is actually one of the worst decisions you can take, not taking any decision. So always take a decision. Either it's a yes or a no, or somewhere in the middle, but always take a decision. Not taking a decision is actually a decision that you will regret. Okay, and that's not what life is all about. It's not about regret. So that's just been my experience personally when it comes to fear. And like I said, the reason I wanted to share this with everyone is because I unfortunately do come across a lot of people who are just pure scared. Like they are even scared to spend, £1,000 in getting an agreement ready. Okay, or they're looking at some sort of deal that they have to spend 10 grand in planning or legals or whatever, and they're scared spending 10 grand thinking, oh, what if nothing happens and I lose that money? That's not how you're going to ever build a decent property business or be able to make large chunks of money. You do have to put your skin in the game. You do have to sometimes lose money. Like I said, I've just lost 7.5 grand in legals with the deals that never completed. And I kind of have got to a point where these days when I'm negotiating a deal, I always tell the seller, look, if you don't complete, you pull out, you pay my legal fee. I tell them, if they don't accept that, they don't accept. But if I pull out, I'll pay your legal fee. So that way, we are both invested into the deal, if you know what I mean. And I tell this to the agents very clearly, that if they pull out, they'll have to pay my legal fee. And if I pull out, I'll pay their legal fee. But, you know, again, why am I sharing this? Because there are always times that you lose money. There are always times when you'll do a bad deal. But it's all about creating a collective business.
Is that legally binded when you say you have to pay the solicitor fee?
Yes. So when you instruct both the solicitors, they will write each other emails. Okay. And those emails, not necessarily that binding, but no one is going to go and fight over £1,000 or £2,000 in legals. Well, very few people.
I'm not asking for 1,000 or 2,000. Sometimes the legal fee could be 20,000 or 30,000.
Yes. Look,
about the higher side of it. That's all.
So to give you an example, my legal fee on the larger hotel is just £5,000, and I'm actually responsible for legal fees of both sides. Okay, so if these guys pull out, my solicitors could potentially, you know, invoice me £5,000, and there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
So
when there is an exchange of subways as well, it's 5,500
minimum. Sorry, let me stop this session, and then you can ask me.
Yeah.